live, uncut, unedited. You already know what it is. Live, uncut, unedited. You already
All right,
know what
come on
it is.
in. Come on in, people.
Live, uncut.
This is where we tell the truth and
tell
shame.
the truth and shame the devil. Tell the truth and shame the devil.
All right, I got to check my settings, make sure they don't just have it where only I can see it. Because, you know, they pull little stunts and stuff like that, people. All right, people, we live, uncut, unedited, and make sure that the settings is right. I knew the settings wasn't right. I knew it. I knew it. Edit privacy. Why is my stuff? Yeah, I knew it. Uh-huh. I knew my settings wasn't right. I got y'all this time. Live, uncut, unedited, people. All right, people. Live, uncut, unedited. And amazing how my settings wasn't right. I knew my settings wasn't right. Live, uncut, unedited. I'm on 3 different platforms, streaming live. So, brand settings. Let me. All right. And it's crazy. Come on in, people. Come on in. I got y'all this time. Live, uncut, unedited, people. Yeah. 872-297. Come on in, people.
You already know what it is. Live.
What's going on, Virginia?
Unedited.
I see you.
You
Virginia, I see you. Peggy, Janelle, brother Broderick, Thomas, Tanya White. What's going on? My brother Darwin Evans, what's up, bro? I see you. Julie Johnson, I see you. 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 Come on in, but we got a great discussion tonight. This discussion is live, uncut, unedited, people. We're talking about recovering addicts and childhood trauma. That's what we're talking about, people. Texas is in the building. Texas in the building. The Lisa Williams, I see you. Keep us up. All right, Florida, we got to say pray for Florida's in our thought. We want to give a shout out to our people down on the ground. 0. All right, people, this is live, uncut, unedited. Make sure y'all share the video. Share the video, share the video. This is live, uncut, unedited. They got messed with my settings. Russell, what's up? Friend Zeta Russell, I see you. Monique, I see you. Greetings. Greetings, I see you. Okay, now if you're looking for a crime, you might hear about a crime, but this is not a crime scene. And if you're looking for gossip, you at the wrong place right now. So I'm just letting you know, this is not that video at all. At all. This is not that video. Come on in, people. Kevin Thomas, what I see you, brother. This is live, uncut. Kennard Johnson, I see you. I see you. I see you. I see you. Yang, live, uncut, unedited. I see you. I see you. I see you. We got a great show. We got a great show, and I want to talk about recovering addicts, and not only recovering addicts. Okay, there we go. My goodness. Oh, y'all coming in live, uncut, unedited. Hello, caller. Where you calling from?
Oh, Chicago.
Chicago. What you want to talk about, caller?
We talking about in Chicago, man. Why black people they hate white people?
Brother, listen. We're talking about recovering addicts, but this is not the show. Okay, we could talk about that another time, but we're talking about.
But you say you hate white one. A man.
Who said that?
People.
Who said that?
You.
I've never said that, brother. When prove it to me.
You said that, man.
Prove me.
Come on, man.
You know, you got them trolls coming out. Prove it. Tell me I said it. Hey, they love me, so they troll on me, don't they? There's some trolls. I'm glad I didn't even record that. Let me hit my recording. Now I'm glad I didn't record it. I hung up on that clown. No one said that. You ain't never heard me say I hate white people. Yeah. That was a clown there. I hope he go back to his hole. Straight up clown. I hung up on that clown. It's wake up time. That's right, brother Bobby. Yeah. Coming on here talking about what I said. Brother, where's the proof at? I love when they put words in my mouth talking about what I said. Here go this clown. Matter of fact, let me block you, clown. You no longer welcome on here no more. You a clown. You a clown. You can't come on my broadcast. You better not use that number. You better call some other number. You want to get on here. Tell you people, I'm telling you, these people are demonic. That's a demonic demon there. Demon. A troll. You know it. Let me block this troll so you won't be calling my phone no more. Block this troll. Block it so you can. Hey, my brother, how you doing? What's going on, brother? You want to talk about our subject, right?
Hey, what's going on, Brother Martin?
What's going on, brother?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Well, come on, talk to us.
So yeah, man. So when we talk about substance abuse, childhood trauma, there's so many different things that stems from. It's man, our community is plagued with substance abuse, mental illness.
Mm-hmm.
And currently I work in that field. And it's just so sad, man, because when you look back, all the way back into slavery, post-traumatic slave syndrome and everything that comes with substance abuse and mental illness, and how if a lot of us look down in our family tree and pull out substance abuse, mental illness, how many people suffer from both of them?
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's alcoholism, whether it's cocaine abuse, opioid dependence, depression, bipolar. Where, man, it's in our families, man. And we a lot of us are in denial about it, man. It is so much undiagnosed. Maybe that's how I say this. It's so many people undiagnosed, and so many people trapped in the slavery of addiction and see no way out. I was one of them brothers who was trapped myself. I've been clean 7 years now, but I look back at a lot of people, man, and I look back when I was standing in that same place with them people, and I know what it's like. So I know what it's like to be on both sides of the fence.
Mm-hmm.
You got any questions for me?
Yeah, I got it. Come on, you know I wasn't gonna let you get up off it without asking no question. Let me help you out. Let me help you out, man. Listen. Now, I know you've been in the streets. I've been in the streets, and a lot of things that we observe. Well, I've been through the area. I don't know how far you go back. I go back to the 80s and 90s, and with the crack era.
Yep.
Okay.
Right.
I've seen parents, young parents, on drugs, out there selling their bodies for crack cocaine. Okay. Now, getting pregnant, they couldn't take care of the baby. The mama took care of the baby. The grandmother, I'm sorry. So you know where I'm going. Now, some of us, parents, my age, our children, and this is where the trauma come in, brother. Those of us that was on drugs back in the 80s and the 90s, and our children seen us indulge in drugs, prostitution, thievery, and all these things that had an effect on our relationship with our children, brother. And right now we have a lot of our children have seen us sleep with this man, this woman, this man, this woman on drugs have seen us do things that we ought not to be children to see us. I was just
you know what's funny?
Go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
No,
that
go
you
ahead.
said that when you really look deep into that, from what you just said about, parents being on crack and this, that, and the third, man, it goes deeper than that. And I know we all used to use the term, oh, he's a crack baby, or he's this and he's that. But when women are not properly taken care of when they, pregnant, it affects the baby. So it affects the child's development in the fetus. It affects their brains. It affects their motor skills. It affects so many things before that child is even brought into the world.
I know you're talking real good.
So genetically,
hold on,
they
brother.
already messed up.
Hold on. I got one good caller coming. Okay, hold on, sister, brother talking. Hold on. Okay, Charles, you were saying genetically. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Genetically, that was your last word.
Yeah. So they're already affected genetically. And so, you got a genetic factor, the environmental factor, which is who we socialize with, what they call our triggers, people we're around and how we absorb things from the environment. That's our other value system, what we learn from. So genetically, we already messed up, man. Then, you got kids coming from broken homes, man, going into school, are malnourished, already have cognitive delays and developmental issues going on already, man. So we already at a disadvantage, not just by being Black, but being affected by or afflicted by this disease. So, man, it gets so deep, man. And well, we look at the systems of racism and how we like stuff before we even know the secret, we already cursed by it.
That's true. Well, let me ask you a question. Yeah, that makes sense.
Go ahead.
Let me ask you a question, brother. Some of our children rebelled against us because we was out there in our madness. When I'm saying we, I'm just speaking in general. I never use drugs, people. So that's what I'm saying. You got, I was just before you had cut me off. It was a young lady. We were speaking just before I started talking about this subject. And she was saying that a young man seen his mother, giving oral in the alley to another man, and that bothered him as he was coming up in life. And as of right now today, they probably don't have a great relationship because of that. And his mother was on some drugs. So these are the things that I'm talking about, brother, that have affected our community.
Trauma.
Just trauma. That's what I want.
That's a part of trauma.
Right.
We affected by so much trauma. That's probably just one portion, one piece of that young man's trauma. We don't know about physical abuse, mental abuse, verbal abuse. That's something he saw. That's something that's something that young man cannot unsee. So that's trauma. So yeah, one thing that comes with that, man, with kids and respect, man, comes clear boundaries. We have to set boundaries with our children. We have to let our children know where they stand and where we stand. And a lot of times that's an issue, man. Parents trying to be friends. There's nothing wrong with having a great relationship with your child and knowing your children individually. But you also set clear boundaries and let that child know, hey, this is where I draw the line. This is what I do. This is where it stops at. So that's another issue, man. As far as what you struggle with and what you did, that's a part of your story. We all got a story.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. All right, hold on, brother. Let me see what my sister got to Dr. Sanders got to say. Come on, Doc.
Okay.
Hey. Well,
how you doing, Dr. Sanders?
Hey, God bless you. How are you? Good evening. I'm gonna be real with you.
All right.
I actually put it in my book. That said no one would help me. The one I have on Amazon. My mother is gone on, but she grew up in the church. And then she saw so much stuff. And when she left the church, at the job that she used to work at, the post office, she got hooked up in that gang. In the post office, CTA, but the post office is really known as a breeding ground for some of the people that got caught up. She got caught up. She got caught up. She got caught up on crack, high price, cocaine, heroin at the post office. She was a union worker, baddest union worker you could ever think about. You thought she was an attorney because she knew how to be a union representative for the people. I asked one of her dearest friends that kind of favored Patti LaBelle, I said, what did my mother say about me? Because it separated us. The whole lifestyle separated us. She got into it in a later age. She didn't do it before I was born and all that. But how I would see it affect her. And one time I actually saw her freebasing. And I didn't know what was going on, but I knew it was something not right. And a few of my high school sisters used to come and spend every weekend with me because I got tired of she would wake me up in the morning. Many of these young folk don't know about alcohols. Used to be on 35th and King Drive.
Yeah.
And she would wake me up 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning, go get tops, go get Smirnoff. And I'm like, who does this? And I was a young mother in college. And my girlfriend told me, she said, you got to get out of here. You got to go. Because there was one situation where she would turn the music up. Down there, you know, she lived in Lake Meadows. So it wasn't like she was broke, but she got caught up. And I didn't like it. Because I'm like, wait a minute. You came up like I did. But what happened? And her girlfriend told me, she said, your mother couldn't get this off of her. She said, I can't shake this. She said, but my daughter is going to be okay because she's stronger than I ever been. And I said, my mom told you that? She said, yeah. She said, your mother said she's smart. She's not going to let nothing get in her way. She's not going to get behind. She's not going to allow what her father and I decided to do to get in her way. And I didn't, because I saw how the reaction of that stuff took her out of here at 45. I was 27. I was married, young mother, new husband. I had to take care of all her business. My mother couldn't even walk up one step. When I asked her doctor down at what they call now ADDICTS Psych Center, when I first found out about what was going on because she had breast cancer, with the complication of drug use on her death certificate, her doctor told me, he said, I told your mother to stop because it was killing her. She smoked up a whole lung and had a half a lung. Martin, when your listeners, some of your listeners criticize me, they don't know where I've come from. Very high profile family in the church, but it hit some of my family members and took them out of here at a young age. Experience and knowledge are two things, but they're intertwined together when it makes sense. She didn't come to my high school graduation. She convinced my grandmother not to come. I had no support from nobody but my son and friends. Those parents that think you need dope, you don't need it. And it's not only just in the world, it matriculates in the church, because you got people in the church that hide their addictions and get up in the pulpit like ain't nothing happened. But when I saw what it did to my mom, my dad had a battle with being an alcoholic, which right now he is dealing with stage 4 prostate metastatic cancer from drinking.
Well, let me ask you a question, Dr. Sanders. Can you share with some of with some of the traumas that you didn't mention while your mother was addicted to drugs as being a young lady?
My mother, I sat her down when she was in her dying time. And I asked my mom, I said, Ma, you had a voice like Marian Anderson. And she could recite poems in church, you know, during the holidays. And I said, why did you do this? Do you know what my mother told me? She said, I didn't know how to handle life being an only child because my mom and I both are only girls. She was an Army girl because her dad, my grandfather, was a military man. But the abuse of verbal abuse was more hurtful than physical because she didn't really fight me, but she would curse me out. And she said she didn't know how to handle it. Life, rules, growing up. And my mother, with my grandparents at the time being married, she didn't know how to adjust. But when she got with people in the world, she was attracted to the lifestyle of having fun, partying. That's what she experienced. My grandmother, my great-grandmother, my grandmother, and my aunt, they raised me. She didn't. She paid the money, yeah, for the post office, but I barely would see her. One man turned my mother out when I was in high school. Turned her out to dope. That's how I found out about her.
Let me say something. I think Brother Barbecue said we have a lot of those crackhead kids from the 80s and the 90s who are now adults that still need help today. Brother Chuck, I don't know if Chuck's still online. I don't know if he's gone now.
I'm still on here.
What do you think about that comment he made? I'll read it again. It said, we have a lot of those crackhead kids from the 80s and the 90s who are now adults that still need help today.
I mean, the way it was worded probably wasn't,
right,
worded correctly. A little degrading, but yeah, well, I just our community period, man. It's so much mental illness and substance abuse, man. It like I said earlier, plagues our community. And a lot of times, man, it's people self-medicate. They self-medicate because they don't have the resources to get the help that they need. They self-medicate because they may have been, prescribed prescriptions, and which I don't think that too much happens in our community. That's more so on in our white counterparts, But it's a lot of truth to that.
Well, can I ask you a question? Since I know you're in the field, I know you person. We talk just about every day. To me, now we come from the same era. I've never seen so many young people that's hooked on drugs. I'm not just talking about weed. I'm talking about lean and pills. I mean, literally hooked on drugs, man.
And you know what, Crime Chase, I have to say, that's the way they promote it too as well. There's so many things that tie to that as far as, the music, the violence, the entertainers, they promote this stuff. And who sits behind the scenes of all these people is our enemy.
White supremacy.
And that's what they promote. That's what they glorify. That's what they glamorize. So that's what's cool.
And they know what is predominantly popular in our communities because when you look at it, they're not going to go to the whitest of the white. What do? They come to our community.
They come to our community, yes.
They come to our community. And you got the foreigners that will underhandedly support. You know why? Because they sell the stuff that goes with the other stuff. 1 + 1 is 2.
Mm-hmm. Carter G. Woodson said that control a man's thinking and you don't have to worry about his actions.
See? Yeah.
You're right. That is so true. I mean, it's so much trauma going on, man. It's like our young people are traumatized and don't know. And they begin to start using drugs like their parents and stuff like that. And you know, you more qualified to talk about drug abuse than I am. I mean, I had one of my parents was on drugs. I had 2 of my brothers was on drugs. I had a cousin that was on drugs. So older brother on drugs as well. So I'm very familiar how it go. Also, I sold drugs. So I'm familiar what goes on in some of the behaviors of drug addiction. And like I said, that's a sure way to destroy any community. First, you take away the family, then you put drugs and your guns and you starve the community from resources, people.
Yeah.
There's a witch hunt.
And it's generational curses.
Yes.
It's generational curses. And that's what the post-traumatic slave syndrome comes in. And what I was talking about earlier as well. That's a generational curse. And what I was saying earlier, by the time we learn the secret, we already affected by the secret.
Yeah, we already.
Sometimes it's too late.
You're right. Sometimes
and they
it's too
know
late.
what to do because the people that are in our community that sell it, they're under control by the person that has another person that mandates it. If you take a look at, of course, we know Denzel Washington played that movie, American Gangster. But think about it. In that movie, where did the original man go to get? He didn't go to nobody else. He went directly to the ones who grew it.
Exactly.
Because it made money, no matter what it was. What happened? He hid behind all of the businesses, reputable businesses, in order to get his stuff through. And picked where? He didn't pick a mansion. He picked the project. Because he knew what was out there. I'm just saying, not Denzel Washington personally, but in the character in the movie. Look how it's filtrated and how much money was made. Even Hugh Hefner, nobody want to talk about that. He had a lot of stuff going on too.
Yes, he did.
In the Playboy Mansion.
And they didn't make a documentary about him until he died.
You see what I'm talking about? So wasn't no Tylenol and ibuprofen. He had everything because guess what? Everybody came to his place for sex and what? Satisfaction.
Let me throw this out there too. Drugs is not just a black people's problem. So you want to let people know that, because some people think every black person is on drugs or use drugs. That's not the case. No. We know how drugs have affected our community, have destroyed our community, and a lot of us are sitting in prison right now because of the drug sales in the community.
And we learned it from them, because even in the slavery days, we weren't allowed to use drugs or drink.
Yeah.
Because you was going to turn on them down.
Yeah. But go ahead, Dr. Sanders.
If the young people can understand, because they're not only experimenting with weed, they're experimenting with Benadryl, cough medicine. You know what I'm saying? And connecting it all together. But there is something that needs to be addressed. And like you said, Martin, the family unit is being destroyed and broken. You know, when I saw what it did to my mom, I'm like, I won't put no mess in my mouth. I never had a mindset like that to even want to test. I know one time my girlfriend said, "Girl, let's get what is it, Tanqueray and grapefruit juice or orange juice or something like that." And I drunk it and threw it all the way up. I'm like, wow. I'm like, girl, this is what y'all call fun. I tried to smoke one cigarette one time. I choked my lungs out. I'm like, no, y'all can have that. So I didn't find no pleasure. It did nothing for me. You know, because sometimes young people that be under peer pressure try to fit in school. And all it takes is one time. And if it feels good, it'll be a continual thing. And one thing, Martin, you mentioned this a long time ago. You may start smoking a cigarette or weed, but to get the relief you need, you're going to be trying to get to another high, and you're going to have to find other things to make you feel better, because all that other stuff is like trash. What did Whitney used to say? Crack was whack.
Mm-hmm. It's just like you're saying about, you know, the trying of the drugs, and they don't even realize it's already in their genetic makeup.
Yep.
So all you need is that one time.
Yeah, one time.
All one time. Yeah.
Yep.
I always tell young people, anybody that introduces you to drugs is not your friend. They're trying to destroy you.
Yep.
Yes, they are.
Introduce. Now, if you popping pills already and y'all getting a pill together, splitting one, that's different. But if they introducing you to a new drug and you smoking weed already, and they introduce you to lean or popping pills or heroin, snorting or doing lines, they are trying to destroy you, young people.
Yes.
Trust me. Trust me.
You know what, Crime Chaser, before I got into substance abuse, it was something I used to say, you know, when I was, you know, on the block, hugging the block and doing this, that, and the third. You know, I say, man, you know, a Negro, he'll feed you poison before he give you a meal.
Wow. Wow.
He'll buy you some weed, he'll give you a pill, he'll give you a drink, but ask him to buy you some food. You know, he ain't feeding you.
Wow.
And you know, when you do drugs, you sell it, you do it, you see what the penalty is when you go to prison.
Yeah. And my Crime Chase was talking about that a little while ago. That was the Ronald Reagan war on drugs.
Mm-hmm.
But they put the mandatory time on the crack system.
Yes, they did.
You get caught with crack, mandatory time. Another part of systemic racism.
Yes, it is.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
And it's flooding our scenes, and it's flooding our sports arena. You know, even those who want to dabble in same sex, a lot of them are doing drugs.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
It's always preventive measures and laws with stipulations, but it's never a solution.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let me ask you a question, Brother Chuck. When was the point where you realized that you need some help when you was fighting your addiction, you say?
Well, you know what? It was, I want to say it was early on that I knew, but the denial piece and accountability thing was real blurred to me. I didn't want to be accountable for my actions. And then I was in denial about what was really going on. So, you know, I was feeding myself, telling myself, you know, you're not harming nobody. When in reality, that was a part of my family system. So everybody, it was a trickle effect, you know. Everybody in the family is affected by that.
Mm-hmm.
And that was like the environmental factor I was talking about earlier. So this is what's seen. This is a learned behavior. So this is what I'm teaching. This is what I'm showing. I'm leading by example. And also harming them with my addiction from what I'm taking away from them, what I'm depriving them of. So yeah, it was kind of early on, but it took me a couple of times to pause to say, you know, hey, is this what I really want? Is this where I want to be in life? Is this my stance? Is this my place? And I started questioning myself. I was at a point where I was questioning my spirituality. I was questioning my God. You know, why is all these, you know, bad things happening to me? And I never looked at myself. Never stood in the mirror and said, you know, it's you. I could point the finger at everybody else and everything else, the system and everybody else, but they always say, be the change that you want to see. So when I had that spiritual awakening, when I had that revelation, I said to myself, I prayed and I prayed hard. I have to be that change.
What would you recommend? What would you recommend?
That's where I started it.
Okay. What would you recommend a person that's probably on this live or going to listen to this live to do to get himself or herself some help? What would you recommend?
The first thing I would recommend is sit down and do a self inventory. Unpack some of that trauma that you had. Unpack some of them things that you put in the back of your closet in your mind. It could be from childhood, it could be from anything, something you did, something that you were remorseful about, it's something that you regretted. Unpack some of that stuff. If you're a spiritual person, I always tell them, the first thing we forget to do is pray. Because everybody's not spiritual. You got your atheists, your non-believers, but I'm a spiritual brother. So, I pray. Sometimes I jump to the solution. I jump to conclusions and I jump to solutions, and my mind gets to going in 100 different directions.
Mm-hmm.
And I say, Chuck, you know what? Stop. Cut it out right there. Just pray. And do you know, once I pray, whether I go to sleep or I just get an inkling in my mind and I get the answer to my problem.
Blessings.
Yeah, so unpack that trauma. That's what I tell people. Unpack it and be accountable. Be accountable for your actions. People love, man, and especially our people. I love my people, man, but we love to point the finger. We love to point the finger at everybody else and, and blame everybody else for our issues. Let me start with me.
Exactly.
And once I check everything off the list, then I can start saying, okay, well, this is what I need to address. This is what I need to address. I got me out the way.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. That's something. All right, people. I just wanted to talk about that a little bit. We're gonna drag it on in the dirt. I appreciate my guests coming on. And
man, I appreciate you having me.
Ain't
brother.
no problem. I know I took you away from your homework assignment, so I want you to get back to
that's
it.
All right. That's all right.
And hopefully this video will help someone to recover, and make up some wrongs and stuff like that. Robert Brown called. Robert, we done, brother. We done. We done, brother Robert. I'm sorry. That's it for this segment. I just want to make it short, sweet. Yeah.
What's up, my brother Robert? How you doing?
He ain't on here yet. I ain't letting him on.
No, he listening.
Okay, he listening. Okay, all right. So I want to thank y'all, Dr. Sanders, as usual, coming on, sharing her testimony, sharing her truth.
Bless you.
Yeah, we appreciate
Thank you as well, Dr. Sanders.
Yeah, brother
God
Charles.
bless you as well.
Hey, listen, I hope this live will help somebody. We definitely told the truth, and we definitely want to shame the devil. And I want to my audience out there, I got trolls. Y'all be mad at me because I be going off, but I got to put them in their place. This is not the place nor the time. This is about business out here, coming on, trying to destroy the program before it even starts. So these are the things that I have to deal with, but I'm dealing with them. And thank you guys for your prayers and your support and everything. And this is live, uncut, unedited. I'm out of here.
You already know what it is.
All right, guests.
Uncut, unedited. You already know what it is. Live,